Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you enjoyed the Memorial Day weekend. But, dude, breaking news. The Carolina Hurricanes finally win an Eastern Conference final game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It only took them damn near 20 years to get a win, but they won last night against the Florida Panthers. They shut them out 3-0. Sebastian Aho and Jordan Staal both had 2 empty netters to seal the deal. But, man, if you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan, you're praying to the Lord. You're praying to praying to the sky today, because they finally win Eastern Conference final game in 19 years. I mean, dude, I thought they were going to get swept again. They got swept in 2009, 13, and 2021. They lost 15 straight coming into this game, Eastern Conference Finals games, but they finally did it. So congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, about damn time, right? I mean, that was getting really sad and pathetic there. I mean, it's almost as bad as the Toronto Maple Leafs losing 7 straight Game 7s. Yeah, I know, Toronto. I know you're still a little salty about that. But Carolina, my God, about time you guys won an Eastern Conference Finals game. So, yes, game last night, Game 4, the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. Florida Panthers, obviously, the defending Stanley Cup champions. They lost at home, 3-0. They go back to Carolina tomorrow night. Then, as I mentioned, the Carolina Hurricanes, they were down 3-0 in the series. Florida was kicking their ass throughout this entire series. And like I said, 15 straight defeats in the Eastern Conference Finals for the Carolina Hurricanes. That's a new record, longest streak in Eastern Conference Finals history for the NHL. I mean, it was pathetic. Like I said, you can compare that to Toronto, or hell, it makes Toronto doesn't make Toronto's situation not that bad, right? Losing 7 straight Game 7s, but Carolina coming into this game lost 15 straight Eastern Conference Finals games, but they snapped that streak last night. Their first Eastern Conference Finals win. Let me tell you guys, June 1st, 2006. That was the last time the Carolina Hurricanes won an Eastern Conference Final game, and I was 9 years old when that happened. And obviously, 2006, all of you remember, they went on to win the Stanley Cup against the Edmonton Oilers, who are also in the playoffs, but competing obviously in the Western Conference Finals. So that was the last time the Carolina Hurricanes won an Eastern Conference Final game. Damn near 20 years. I was 9 years old. I'm 28 now. So good for them. About time they did something. But yes, Sebastian Aho and Jordan Staal, as I mentioned, empty netters to seal the deal. Logan Stankoven started the party for the Carolina Hurricanes, scoring the first goal, made it 1-0 for the Canes. Shots, 28-20 in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. Hits, very physical game last night, 52-37 in favor of the Florida Panthers. Obviously, that didn't help them out because they got shut out on home ice. They had a chance to move on to the Stanley Cup final. They couldn't do it. They allowed the Carolina Hurricanes to force a Game 5 coming back to Carolina tomorrow night. Power play, there was 4-3 opportunities in favor of the Panthers. Neither team then score a power play goal. So you have all these chances with the man advantage, and you can't get a goal. That's not good. I mean, this is the Eastern Conference Finals. This ain't the regular season game. Hell, this ain't the first round of the playoffs. This is the Eastern Conference Final. One more win, and you go on to the Stanley Cup Finals, right? So having these power play opportunities, having these moments with the man advantage, and you can't get goals out of it, it's not good. So power plays for both teams last night, the Panthers and the Canes, not good. Both teams need to clean that up going into tomorrow night's game. And then, Wednesday, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on TNT in Carolina for Game 5. It's going to be a very interesting one. We'll see how Carolina responds from this shutout win on the road. Can they play that good or even better? I might argue they have to play better if they're playing, on home ice. They're back in Carolina. They have to win. I mean, they got to dominate too to force a Game 6, because Florida's going to come in pissed off after getting shut out last night on home ice. They're ready. They're going to want to finish this series out in Carolina, but Carolina's got to defend home ice. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night. Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers. But yeah, Carolina, victorious. Avoid the sweep. It would have been 16 straight losses in the Eastern Conference Finals if they lost last night, but they avoided it. First win since 2006, June 1st, 2006 specifically. They forced a Game 5. They win 3-0 against the Panthers last night. Good game. So you have that going on. Now we got to go to the other side. We got the Western Conference Finals. We got the Oilers and the Stars. So Game 4 tonight, 8 p.m. on ESPN. Oilers are up 2-1 in this series. The Oilers look absolutely phenomenal. Edmonton, they won on Sunday 6-1. I mean, we'll get to that in a little bit because a lot of these conference finals games have been blowouts, it seems like. I don't know. Me personally, as a hockey fan, not really excited about these conference finals games. I mean, conference finals, you would think, okay, one team maybe wins 2 games, the other team wins 2, so, 2-2 series, 3-2, 3-3, game 7s. These are supposed to be competitive games. They've been shutouts for the most part, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But Edmonton wins 6-1 Sunday. McDavid had 2 goals on 2 shots. So, obviously, one of the greatest hockey players of all time. I would say he's the best player right now in the NHL today. As we are speaking today, he is the best hockey player in the world. My opinion, that guy is phenomenal. Every time he's on the ice, it's must-see TV. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't get up and do laundry. Watch that guy play hockey because it is a very good time. But yeah, 2 shots and 2 goals. That's unbelievable. So he had that, and then Zach Hyman had 2 goals for the Edmonton Oilers as well. But yeah, 6-1 domination, complete domination by the Edmonton Oilers against the Dallas Stars Sunday. Shots 34-24 in favor of Dallas. So Dallas had more shots, but couldn't find the back of the net as many times as Edmonton did. It happens sometimes. Hockey's a weird game. It is what it is, but that many shots, you had to get more goals than just the one that you got. I mean, come on. Like I said, this is the Western Conference Final. You're one step away from competing in the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, you have to score goals. You can't be messing around. You can't be dogging it. Like, find a way and figure it out, dude. I mean, this is the big time. We started with 16 teams at the start of the playoffs. 16. We're down to 4. And when you score 1 goal through 3 periods, 60 minutes, there's something wrong there. Like, Dallas has to figure something out. But shots, they had the advantage, but couldn't get more goals out of it. Hits, 47-30 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. Very physical team, once again, and lots of physicality throughout these entire playoffs, not just the Eastern Conference Finals, not just the Western Conference Finals, but throughout these entire playoffs. The first, second round, every playoff game in the NHL, in the Stanley Cups, or Stanley Cup rather, very physical. So Edmonton likes to hit. They hit a lot on Sunday. And then power plays. You had 3-2 opportunities in favor of Edmonton. They actually got a power play goal, so that helped them out with their 6-1 ass beating against the Dallas Stars. But now you got game 4 on tonight. Edmonton's up 2-1. Dallas, you got to tie it. You got to find a way to beat these guys. So you don't want Edmonton to go up 3-1, especially if Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, all those players, Zach Hyman even, he's been really good for the Oilers in these playoffs. You don't want those guys to get red hot and have a 3-1 series lead. Dallas needs to find a way to win tonight. But yeah, tonight, 8 p.m., check it out, ESPN, Game 4 between the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. It's been crazy. So you got those games on, but I want to talk about these conference finals in general. So Eastern Conference Finals, we'll go back to Eastern Conference Finals real quick. So Game 1, 5-2 in favor of Florida. Not very competitive at all. Western Conference Final, Game 1, Dallas, 6-3. This was probably the best game throughout the entire playoffs, not just, this series between the Oilers and the Stars, but the entire Stanley Cup playoffs. This was probably the best game, without question, because Dallas wins 6-3. They were down 3-1 going into the third period. They scored 3 power play goals within a 6-minute span, and they scored a total of 5 goals in the third period to win 6-3 against the Edmonton Oilers in Game 1. Best game so far. in the Stanley Cup playoffs, it was phenomenal. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I don't think I ever seen that. 3 power play goals in 6 minutes. Whoa! I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, that's insane. I don't know how you explain that, but Dallas, they had a different mindset going to that third period. I mean, they were on a different track that night, and they put on a great performance. So you had that going on. But then the Eastern Conference final game 2, Florida shuts out the Carolina Hurricanes 5-0. So at that point, they're up 2-0 in the series. I thought, oh man, Carolina's going to do it again. They're going to get swept again in the Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously, they won last night, but I mean, 5-0. This is the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, what are we doing here? And then Western Conference Finals, Game 2, 3-0 in favor of the Oilers. And then Eastern Conference Final, Game 3, 6-2 in Florida. Made them go up 3-0 in the series. And then Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, as I mentioned this past Sunday, a couple nights ago, 6-1, or a couple days ago. They played 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. They won 6-1. Edmonton over the Dallas Stars. So a lot of these games have been shutouts. What's going on? Why is this happening? I don't know. I don't know if it's just poor play or that's just how the cookie crumbles. I don't know. But these conference finals games, they got to find a way to make it more competitive, because the Stanley Cup Finals last year was fantastic. Game 7, Florida was up 3-0. Edmonton came back and forced the Game 7, and then obviously Florida ended up winning the Stanley Cup Finals last year. But that was a great final. Probably one of the best I've seen in all my years watching hockey. So these conference finals games, it's giving me a bad feeling about the Stanley Cup Finals, because at the end of the day, that's all we care about, right? Because the buck stops here. That's the championship. The best of the best. We want to see a competitive series. I don't want to see any team getting blown out. I don't want to see a sweep. Like, make it competitive. That's why we love this sport. That's why I love this sport. Watching these games, gotta make it competitive. The NHL's got to find a way, because these conference finals games, 2 thumbs down. They have been disappointing. I mean, you guys can disagree with me or agree with me, but am I the only one noticing this? I don't know. I gave you guys the scores, the situations. It's not good. It's not competitive. It's not fun. When it's not competitive, it's not fun. It's not worth my time watching these games. And I hate to say that as a hockey fan, but they got to find a way to make these conference finals games good, because then it sets up for a great Stanley Cup Finals down the road. But, that's the NHL's issue. So you got the Western Conference Finals game on tonight, 8 o'clock, ESPN. Eastern Conference Final game, Game 5, tomorrow night, 8 p.m., TNT. Canes, Panthers, Oilers, Dallas Stars. Those are your Final 4. NHL, let's make it exciting. Figure it out. So that's NHL playoffs. Now we got to hop over to baseball. Detroit Tigers, you see the hat, right? I mean, these guys are doing fabulous right now. They're doing really good. This past weekend, though, not the greatest. They dropped 3 out of 4 against their division rival, the Cleveland Guardians. See, I got that right. Don't cancel me. But 3 out of 4 against the Guardians. You can't do that. You lost an extra inning Saturday night. You had an opportunity to win that game. You blew it. But, Sunday, you have Tarek Skubal coming in. You know how he is. He handles his business. So the Detroit Tigers, 35-20 record. First place in the AL Central. They have a 19-8 home record. 19 wins, 8 losses. They opened up the series against the Giants yesterday for Memorial Day. So thank you for those, the men and women who sacrificed their lives, who served this country, for us to remember you guys on that day. So Memorial Day, Tigers open up the series against the Giants. They're 31-23, third in the NL West. We won 3-1. It was a good game, very exciting game. Will Vest gets the save, so he looked good. He was able to shut out. He was able to do his job and get that win, get the first win of this 3-game series against San Fran. I like to see a sweep just to get the Tigers back on track, because then Friday we got to travel to Kansas City to face those Kansas City Royals. And then we got Chicago White Sox after that. And then we come home next Friday to take on the Cubs. So, yeah, these games are not getting easier for the Tigers. So, hopefully they can keep winning. You know, those bats need to come alive. That pitching needs to stay consistent. These guys need to come, you know, they got to find ways to win and continue their dominance. I mean, 35-20, I'll take it. I mean, that's phenomenal. But baseball, we say it every week here on Guys Time. It's a long season. The Tigers have to stay consistent. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, especially in this sport. But you know what? I think they can make a run. And I know that's early now. It's May, almost June. And I'm saying that, but look what they did last year. Late last year, they got red hot. They got super hot. And then they beat Houston in the wild card round. And then unfortunately, we lost in the American League Divisional Series against, of course, the Cleveland Guardians. Damn it, I almost didn't make a mistake on that. But we lost to the Cleveland Guardians last year in the ALDS. Dropped 3 out of 4 against them in the regular season. We got to find ways to beat Cleveland. They're our rival. They're in the AL Central, right behind us, too. They're in second place. We got to beat those guys. So going back to the Giants game, Riley Green, 2 RBIs. So that's good to see him finally, you know, trying to stay consistent. You know, earlier in the year, he was struggling a lot, striking out quite a bit. But now he's pretty good. You know, he's scoring runs. He's, you know, hitting the ball. He's getting on base. You know, that's one of our guys. That's one of our top players. We need to see him going. And then Torkelson, you know, it seems like he's gotten a slump lately. I mean, he hit a home run this past weekend against the Cleveland Guardians, but, you know, more consistency out of him. And then, you know, you saw Javier Baez get ejected. I mean, he was going after that umpire. I mean, he had to be held back by 2 guys. He was very upset about balls and strikes. I mean, I get it. You know, a lot of these umpires are horrible. You know, we're all humans too. We all make mistakes. But I mean, dude, for as long as they've been doing that job, like you gotta be more consistent when it comes to balls and strikes. And so maybe Javier Baez was right. You know, going nuts, going absolutely crazy against that home umpire. I wasn't at the game, so I don't know. But maybe he was justified in what he did. But yeah, he was upset. I mean, he was pissed. So he got ejected, you know, balls and strikes, whatever. He'll be back, obviously, today, or tonight, rather, against the Giants. And then, as I mentioned, avoid to sweep against the Guardians, who are second in the AL Central, 29-24 record. Sunday, 5-0 shutout for the Detroit Tigers. And why do you think that is? Because we got my man on the mound, Tarek Skubal, the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner. And, well, I mean, why do you think he won the AL Cy Young Award last year? Because this guy is amazing. This guy's our ace. He is the guy for the Detroit Tigers. 13 strikeouts, 2 hits. The first complete game in his career. Hit the last pitch of that game, that 5-0 shutout a couple days ago, Sunday. 103-mile-per-hour fastball. And he's throwing that in the 9th inning when he's thrown over 100 pitches. 103-mile-per-hour fastball in the 9th inning. I mean, if that doesn't personify or if that doesn't describe him as a beast, a bad man, an absolute monster, I don't know what does. That is unbelievable. Tarek Skubal, we're glad we have you here in Detroit. Don't go anywhere. We're keeping you forever. If the Detroit Tigers were smart, keep that guy happy because that's unbelievable. But 13 strikeouts, you know, and another shutout for Tarek Skubal. So, yeah, you already know why. You already know why the Tigers got the shutout win because Tarek Skubal's on the mound, man. He's the guy. So you had that going on. He's pitching in a couple days, Saturday against the Kansas City Royals. So he won't be pitching in this series against the Giants, we got Jack Flaherty tonight and then Jackson Jobe tomorrow to wrap up the 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants. So tonight's game, 6:40 p.m. Check it out. Jack Flaherty on the mound, 2-6 record, 4.39 ERA. Not the greatest. We've seen him struggle quite a bit this season so far. Hopefully tonight he can get the groove back. He can focus. He can get back on track. He needs to. We need this guy to step up to the plate because Tarek Skubal, he can't do everything for pitching, for the starting pitching. He can't do everything. I mean, this is baseball, team effort. Everyone's got to pitch in. Everyone's got to do their part. Jack Flaherty needs to figure it out tonight. His last start, lost 7-0, got shut out by the Cleveland Guardians. 6 2/3 innings pitch, 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 home run he allowed. He walked 3 guys. He did strike out 8, but those walks and those runs and obviously the home run he gave up, not good if you're Jack Flaherty. So Jack Flaherty tonight, you have to do something, man. These people are getting very impatient with you. I get it's early season struggles, but tonight would be a great night to turn it around and get back on track. So Jack Flaherty's pitching tonight, 6:40 p.m. San Francisco Giants going up against the Detroit Tigers. The first place Detroit Tigers in the AL Central. Check that game out tonight. Baseball, go Tigers. I got the hat on, the lucky hat. It seems like every time I wear this hat, they do good. They win games and, go on winning streaks. So hopefully we can start our winning streak tonight. We won yesterday, so we're on a 2-game winning streak right now with that win this past Sunday against the Cleveland Guardians. We'll see what happens. But, yep, 6:40, go Tigers. Handle your business. But, yeah, we got to talk about these standings real quick. Tigers first in the AL Central. The Yankees, 32-20 in the AL East. Tampa Bay Rays are up there. The Red Sox, 27-28. Not a winning record, but definitely up there. But yeah, in the American League, the Detroit Tigers have the top spot right now. And then the Yankees. My friend Eric Balucki, he loves the Yankees, so he's probably very happy to see them doing well right now. Second place in the American League, you got the Seattle Mariners, third. Cleveland Guardians, fourth place. And then Minnesota Twins, a couple weeks ago, they were on a 14-game winning streak. They lost to the Milwaukee Brewers, snapped that streak, but dude, 14. And then they started horrible too, the Twins. They were losing games left and right, but they got hot at a random time. And that's the thing about baseball. Long season, you get these winning streaks either at a weird time, the wrong time, or just at the right time. And, Minnesota definitely got hot at a very weird time, but it's good enough for 5th place in the AL Central. So, yeah, that's your top 5 for the American League. The National League, though, the Philadelphia Phillies, 34-19. That's absolutely phenomenal. They're in first place in the National League. You got Chicago Cubs. Like I said, we play them in a couple weeks. It doesn't get easier from this point forward. The Dodgers are in 3rd place. The New York Mets, 4th. And then 5th place, you got the Padres there. And then the San Francisco Giants are in 6th place. So lots of baseball to play, but I like the Detroit Tigers being the first place team in the American League. So, like I said, they just got to keep continuing. The pitching's got to be good, and the bats need to fly. The bats need to come alive these next few games for the Detroit Tigers. So that's baseball. Go Tigers. Handle your business tonight. We got to hop over to the UFC. So we got a fight night. We didn't have a fight night this past weekend, Memorial Day. But we got a fight night this weekend. We got Erin Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. The UFC Women's Flyweight Division. That's the main event at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. Main card starts at 9 p.m. The prelims start at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus, and then the main card is going to be on ESPN and ESPN Plus as well. So check that one out. Great way to end the month of May with two top 5 women flyweights in the UFC. Erin Blanchfield, she has a 13-2-0 record. Her last fight was last November 2024. She beat Rose Namajunas by unanimous decision. So she's looking to possibly get a title shot against Valentina Shevchenko. So we got that. Her resume in terms of fighters she's beat: Molly McCann, who retired earlier this year, Jessica Andrade, Tyler Santos, just to name a few of the fighters she's beaten on her resume. So she comes in facing Macy Barber, who's 14-2 record. Like I said, 2 top 5 women's flyweights in the UFC. She's on a 6-fight winning streak, Macy Barber is. Her last fight was last March, March of 2024. She beat Caitlin Sermonera by unanimous decision. So unfortunately, she does have a history of pulling out from fights, health issues, undisclosed reasons. So hopefully she stays healthy and this fight happens, because this fight needs to happen for the women's flyweight division so that Valentina Shevchenko could possibly face one of these 2 women in her next title fight. Perhaps. I don't know. I'm not Dana White. I'm not the matchmaker. But you got Erin Blanchfield, who's number 4 in the UFC women's flyweight rankings. And then Macy Barber is number 5 in the same division, women's flyweight UFC rankings there. Erin Blanchfield, she has a lot of her victories, I think 6 of them by submission, or 4 of them by submission. So she is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist coming into this fight. And then Macy Barber, she is the striker. She has quick hands. She looks good, but when you're going up against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist, it's a tough game. I mean, anything can happen. One punch, Erin Blanchfield gets knocked out, but Erin Blanchfield gets Macy Barber on the ground. It could be a bad day for Macy Barber. But yeah, 2 top 5 women's flyweight going at it. Obviously this fight could definitely mean a title fight for the winner against Valentina Shevchenko. I don't know, but great main event to end the month of May. 2 women going at it. Erin Blanchfield, Macy Barber, 2 top 5 women's flyweights. This Saturday night, 9 p.m. The main card starts. 6:30 prelims are on. Check that out. It's going to be going. Mateusz Gamrot is going to be in the co-main event. Haven't heard his name in a long time, so you have that going on. See who else is on this card. Yeah, not a whole lot of big names, but, if you guys not doing anything Saturday night, want to watch some UFC, some combat sports, watch UFC Fight Night, Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. So you have that. And then, obviously, the following weekend, you got UFC 316. You got Merab Dvalishvili, the bantamweight champion, defending the title in a rematch against Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley lost his title to Merab, so obviously rematch is in place. That's going to be the main event. 5 rounds between these guys. Bantamweight, 135 pounds. Should be a very interesting fight. We'll dive more into that next week, and I'll give you my picks for that fight as well. And then the co-main event, same card, UFC 316, women's bantamweight title is on the line. The champion, Juliana Pena, defending her title against Kayla Harrison. Lots of trash talk between these 2. I don't know, Juliana Pena, you got to watch out, because Kayla Harrison, she's a beast, man. She looks very thick. I mean, she is a very strong woman. She don't mess around either. So, Juliana Pena, you got to watch yourself, I think, a little bit. Back up a little bit. But, yeah, like I said, I'll break down this fight as well. Give my picks next week. But, yeah, 2 title fights to start off the month of June. Big UFC pay-per-view to start off in June. Like I said, UFC knows how to do it when it comes to summer fights. Calvin Gastelum is on this card as well. So haven't heard his name in a long time. Chito Vera was supposed to fight on this card. He pulled out, unfortunately. He's an exciting fighter to watch. But yeah, you have that going on. Yeah, you have a lot of good fights coming up. UFC 317 towards the end of the month. I think that's International Fight Week, if I'm not mistaken. Usually it's in July, but I think it's the end of June this year. But you have that. And then a couple weeks from now, you got Fight Night between Kamaru Usman. Haven't seen him in a while. Going up against Joaquin Buckley. 2 welterweights going at. So that's going to be a very interesting fight. 2 top 10 welterweights in the main event. Joaquin Buckley, this would be a huge win. A huge win for him against Kamaru Usman, who is the former UFC welterweight champion. That's the main event. Saturday, June 14th, a couple weeks from now. You have that. And then the co-main event, Rose Namajunas, as we mentioned before, going against Miranda Maverick. That's a hell of a name. That's awesome. Good for her. That's going to be the co-main event there. Michael Chiesta's on this card as well. But yeah, very interesting fight card there. And then you got another fight night the following Saturday. So yeah, June just knocking out these events. I mean, I might be watching UFC every single Saturday in the month of June with these fight cards going on. I mean, it's very possible, right? I love my UFC. But yeah, another fight night. Jamal Hill going up against Khalil Roundtree Jr. Light heavyweight bout there. Main event. That's going to be a good one there. Rafael Fiziev, co-main event. The last time we saw him, he lost to Justin Gaethje. So hopefully he gets back into the win column. But that's June 21st. And then to end the month, June 28th, you got UFC 317. In the main event, you got Ilia Topuria going up against Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title. Because as you guys remember, Islam Makhachev, well, I think it's Makhachev. Islam Makhachev relinquished or gave up the lightweight title so he can move up to welterweight, possibly face Jack Della Maddalena for the UFC welterweight title there. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But he gave up the lightweight title, so the lightweight title is up for grabs. Who's going to win it? Ilia Topuria or Charles Oliveira? Like I said, when we get closer, I'll break down the fight and the Bryce will give his picks. But that's a hell of a main event there. That'll be very exciting. So you have that. And then the co-main event, another title fight. So another 2-title fight pay-per-view for UFC 317. You got Alexandre Pantoja defending his title against Kai Kara France in the main event, the UFC flyweight title. So it's nice to see him back in the mix there. And then Benel Dariush going against Renan Moicano. Another lightweight bout there. That's going to be a very interesting fight. Brandon Royval going up against Manel Kape. UFC flyweight bout there. That's going to be a good one. Paulo Costa's on this fight. Haven't seen him in a long time. Tracy Cortez is going to be on this fight card as well. So June's got some good fights coming up, and that's going to be a good time there. And then obviously UFC 318. Saturday, July 19th, a couple months from now, you got main event Max Holloway going up against Dustin Poirier for the BMF title. This is Dustin Poirier's last fight. He said it. I think he's done for sure. And you know how these fighters are. They change their minds. But Dustin Poirier, I think he's pretty content on this fight against Max Holloway. This is the third time, by the way, they've gone up against one another. Dustin Poirier is 2-0. Against Max Holloway in this series. But Dustin Poirier has gone on record saying that he is done after this fight. So it's going to be very emotional. Hopefully he goes off on top. But you know how a lot of these retirement fights go. Obviously Robbie Lawler, won his last fight by knockout. So maybe just Dustin Poirier maybe wins by knockout or unanimous decision or a decision. I love Max Holloway as well, but Dustin Poirier, he's one of my favorites. But yeah, if he's officially done after this fight against Max Holloway, a great career from Dustin the Diamond Poirier. And yeah, it's gonna be an emotional one. I can't miss it. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I don't care what I gotta do. If I have to pay for the pay-per-view, I'm good with that. I'm good. I'll definitely do that because it's gonna be an emotional night. But yeah, the third time these two have gone against each other, BMF title. I mean, doesn't get any better than that, right? It kind of makes sense, especially with these two guys, Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. But yeah, third time these guys have fought against one another. So you have that, July 19th. Marvin Vettori's on this card as well. But yeah, that'll be a very interesting fight as well. But yeah, lots of good fights coming up. Well, like I said, June. The start of June, the first Saturday in June, and then all the other Saturdays, the Bryce he's probably gonna end up watching UFC because you got a lot of good fights going on in the month of June. A lot of good fight cards for sure. But yeah, that's the UFC. Check those out. Keep yourself posted on the UFC schedule. It's going to get crazy. after this weekend. But yeah, watch this weekend's fight card as well between Erin Blanchfield and Macy Barber. That's going to be going as well. So we end, guys, time today. We end this episode today talking about some boxing. So we got some boxing fights coming up. Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., 10 rounds. June 28th, Anaheim, California. Sure, if you guys want to waste your money watching that. You got that going on. July 11th, New York, Madison Square Garden, Netflix. I do believe this is an all-women's fight card. I think that's the first time in boxing history. I could be wrong, but that's phenomenal. Title fight between Caitlin Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Third time these two women have gone against one another. Taylor 2-0. Last fight, lots of controversy there. I saw Serrano winning that fight, especially a lot of headbutts from Taylor. Should have got a point deduction. That referee, I don't know what the hell he was doing. I don't know what he was drinking. I don't know what he was smoking. I don't know what kind of wagers he had on the fight. But, I mean, it was pretty obvious with the headbutts and everything. Hopefully we don't deal with any of that bull crap, any of that nonsense this fight, because this is the third fight between these two women. It's for the undisputed junior welterweight championship. Let's just have a good fight. Let's have a good time. No BS, no controversy. Let's just have a great night. So that's July 11th. And then July 12th, New York. A day later, you got another title fight. Shakir Stevenson going up against William Cepeda. 12 rounds for Stevenson's WBC lightweight title. That'll be a very interesting fight. And then July 19th, same day as Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier. In Vegas, you got Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement. 4 years away from the sport of boxing. He's coming back to face Mario Barrios. 12 rounds for Barrios' WBC welterweight title. And then the same night, July 19th, in London, the Zone pay-per-view, you got a huge title fight between two big heavyweights. Alexander Usyk defending the title against Daniel Dubois. 12 rounds for Usyk's WBC, WBO, and WBA heavyweight titles, and for Daniel Dubois' IBF heavyweight titles. So all the titles are on the line in the heavyweight division. Undisputed. You guys remember the fight a couple years ago. Lots of controversy. Daniel Dubois landed what seemed like a very good body shot. Usyk went down. Referee said it was a low blow. He allowed Usyk a lot of time to recover. And then he ends up winning that fight, knocking out Daniel Dubois. Out of many things that could have gone in that fight, he knocks out Daniel Dubois. So, I saw the highlights, lots of controversy. Daniel Dubois remembers that. He might be coming in ready to take Usyk's head off. But Usyk, he's undefeated. He's beaten Tyson Fury a couple times. He's defeated Anthony Joshua a couple times, two of the best heavyweights in boxing today. Daniel Dubois, this is your time to shine, and this is your turf. London, England, man. Get your revenge. But that will be a very interesting fight. July 19th in London. Same day. That's going to be a fight night day because I might have to have UFC on and that fight on. The boxing fight between Usyk and Dubois on at the same time, because that's awesome. So you have that going on. And then obviously September 13th, the much anticipated fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Finally, boxing fans have been waiting for this fight forever. 12 rounds for Alvarez's undisputed super middleweight championship. We got the date. It was supposed to be Saturday or Friday. That would have been great, but now it's Saturday. During football season, of course, but that's okay. We'll figure out a way. There's multiple TVs. You can figure it out. Have football on one TV, have the boxing fight on another TV. We'll figure it out. Still don't know where this fight's going to happen. They've talked about Vegas, LA, New York. I think Abu Dhabi, is another place. London, is another possible location for this fight. Who knows? It's probably going to be in New York just because it's a big audience. Maybe in LA too because it's a big market. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We got the date though. We just don't have the location, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. But yeah, the much anticipated Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford fight. Terence Crawford obviously undefeated. Canelo Alvarez won his last fight against William Skull and a snooze fest. Yeah, we already talked about that. We don't need to exhaust ourselves anymore on that. That was god-awful. So hopefully Canelo Alvarez comes back and puts on a show against Terrence Crawford. And Terrence Crawford better put on a show as well. So big super fight, September. We got a lot of time before that happens. But yeah, boxing, summer. They're trying to compete with the UFC, it seems like. But yeah, the boxing schedule looks pretty good. Pretty stacked, as they say in sports. So you have that going on, but we have to end today talking about Savannah Tini coming out of New Way Training Center. She has her next fight next Tuesday, live from Nashville, Tennessee. Country box. This is a weird concept, man. If you guys don't know what country box is, it's weird because they do like performances, like actual like karaoke or like a live band, live concert, I guess you can say, during the intermission of these fights. And then obviously you got boxing, but then it's like music and boxing combined. It's a very interesting concept. I watched it for the first time a few months ago when I was watching Savannah Tini in her last fight. Very interesting, to say the least. But Savannah Tini, New Way Training Center, Clinton Township, Michigan. She's back in action. She's defending her 4-0 record. She's undefeated. Going up against a very much experienced fighter, been in the game for a long time, Simone Aparecida da Silva. She comes in with a 17-35-0 record. Country box, Nashville, Tennessee, next Tuesday, June 3rd. Check it out. I'm sure Savannah Tini, if you follow her on Instagram or her Facebook page, she's going to send out the links to that fight, but she's looking to go 5-0. And just watching her train and spar and everything, I think she's going to handle her business once again in Nashville, Tennessee. I want her to fight in Michigan, though. I would love to go travel to Tennessee, but I don't have the means for it right now. So hopefully her next fight after this will be somewhere in Michigan. But it's good to have her back, I guess, in Nashville, Tennessee. They liked her last time, I guess. That's why she's got the invite again. But 4-0, Savannah Tini going up against Simone Aparecida da Silva, 17-35-0 record. This is going to be an interesting one. But I got Savannah Tini. I'm going with New Way. She's going to handle her business. She looks very determined. And, 4-0. Defending that 4-0 record. Trying to make it 5-0 for Savannah Tini. And, it's going to be a good one. But, yeah, Country Box, Nashville, Tennessee, next Tuesday, June 3rd. Look out for the links. She does a very good job. She did that last time with her fight a little over a month and a half ago. She did a very good job sending out those links. She's got a big crowd. She's got a big following, and she looked fantastic in her last fight. This fight, I don't expect anything less. She's going to dominate. She's going to take control of that fight, and she's going to look good. So Savannah Tini, check her out next Tuesday. Be on the lookout for all those links as I mentioned. Instagram, Facebook. If you don't follow her right now. You don't want to miss that fight next Tuesday. So you have that, and that's it. That's the Guys Time with the Brides. That's Guys Time today. So thank you for joining me. You guys already know the drill. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. You want to see my beautiful face? you can check out the YouTube channel. You want to listen to my amazing voice? You can check out the Spotify and Apple Podcast links as well. I'll have this up as soon as possible. It's going to take me a couple minutes, but I will get this up, and then you can listen to it whenever you want, or you can see my beautiful face whenever you want. But it's Tuesday. A lot of you had a 3-day weekend. Hopefully you recovered. A lot of you probably aren't appreciating going to work today. It is what it is, but yet continue to fight, continue to kick ass, to continue to get better every single week. And the Brides appreciates your support for Guys Time. So enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the day. Watch some sports tonight. You got hockey, you got baseball. Watch some fight night. Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber. 5-round main event, 9 p.m. this Saturday night, ESPN Plus. Main card starts, and enjoy your life. Enjoy the summer. Summer's almost here, so Yeah, and enjoy the week. All right, see you guys. The prize is out. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you for your support. All right, take care, guys.